I have some conversion tables. If you want to come by, give me an email address. I'd be happy to send them to you so you can think about this complex process. Thanks, Doug, for organizing this, and glad to be here.
Welcome. My name is Rick Kaiser. Annalise and I are here from Treve Systems in Petaluma to talk to you today about forward osmosis. Now, forward osmosis is a membrane separation process that is equally applicable to wastewater recycling as it is to seawater desalination. The process is not a new one. It was originally described back in the 60s, but hasn't really been developed for commercial application until recently. Treve has a unique take on FO, and we've demonstrated it successfully for the Navy down at Port Hueneme last year, and we're currently scaling it up to do additional demonstrations for seawater desalination in the Persian Gulf, as well as wastewater recovery in Southern California down at the Orange County Water District. FO is largely a thermal process, and as such, it's not a pressure-driven process. So the overall energy requirements are low. So the low energy footprint equals a low carbon footprint means that the impact on greenhouse gases is low. The process is also, because of its nature as a thermal process, very adaptable to being 100% powered by renewables, and this is something that we're very excited about. So again, the membrane process as a whole is equally adaptable to wastewater recycling, and we at Treve, we strongly encourage the city and the county of Santa Cruz to look at wastewater as a source of water should plans call for additional water supply. We're right over here at booth number 4. We encourage you to come by, and we're happy to speak with you. Thanks very much.
My name is Wilson Fieberling. I was the city engineer and director of public works of Santa Cruz from 1962 to 82. Now, in 2 weeks, the people of California will probably approve Proposition 1, which allows $7.5 billion for water projects, including $2.7 billion for water storage. Some of the money could help Santa Cruz County. In an average year, 30 billion gallons of water flow out to sea through the San Lorenzo River. The city only uses about 4 billion gallons, so there is a lot of water left to be stored rather than going out to sea. In 1953, the State Water Resources Board recommended that the city construct the Doyle Gulch Off-Stream Storage Reservoir, which is at the south end of Rodale Gulch Road, and it would provide enough water for the city's needs in the future. Water would be pumped to this reservoir from the San Lorenzo River. The first phase would have a holding capacity of about 1 billion gallons and a safe yield of about 2.84 billion gallons. This facility would allow the city to use Loch Lomond Reservoir as an off-stream storage reservoir for more water pumped from the Felton diversion, because water could be supplied to the water treatment plant during winter storms. Water would be pumped up to Loch Lomond through the only pipe that exists. It would be difficult to build Doyle Gulch Reservoir now due to housing developments. I found 5 other reservoir sites which provide at least as much water storage at the same yield. One is in Arroyo Seco Canyon, which is east of Western Drive. The other is number 2 is in Moore Creek Watershed, which is west of Western Drive. One would be north of the city landfill on state park land. The 4th would be the Lydell Quarry, which is near the city's intake and on Lydell Creek. And the 5th would be the Hanson Quarry in Scotts Valley. I believe that dams could be built in these locations. They should be evaluated by a geotechnical engineer and an endangered species expert. Water could be pumped through pipelines within the county's recently acquired railroad right-of-way. This solution will solve all of our water problems at a low cost. They would solve the problem of Soquel District being able to have water to rest their wells so that they don't have to have saltwater intrusion. It would be enough water to add to rivers and streams in order to facilitate anadromous fish flows, and there would be sufficient water for our domestic, agricultural, industrial, and recreational needs to eliminate water rationing. It would be foolish to believe that Santa Cruz can afford to desalinate enough seawater to provide for fish flows in the San Lorenzo River and coastal streams. I invite you to come to my table so that I can answer your questions. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Tom Mannheim. Our organization is the Sustainable Water Coalition. We're booth 11 over there. Our proposition is simple. We think that conservation is critical, that a lot of these other projects are critical to look at, but at the end of the day, we need to make sure we have an achievable solution. And so we believe that the desal plant that the city studied for 5 years should be one of the options, one of the alternatives that the Water Supply Advisory Committee considers as it looks at all of the alternatives. We are proposing a couple of different changes to the original proposal. One is that the pump station should be co-located on site with the plant so that it doesn't impact West Side neighborhoods. The other is that the desal plant should be net carbon neutral and that should be achieved by selecting local and regional offset projects from the list of nearly 50 projects that are in the environmental impact report. Unlike other California regions, as we all know, Santa Cruz does not import its water, and all of our water comes from rivers and streams, our underground aquifers that are fed by those rivers and streams. In other words, all of our water is currently dependent on rainfall, and as we're finding, rainfall is not a dependable source of water. Desal is the only solution that doesn't depend on rainfall. It's an environmentally safe new source of water for our community. The desal intake system would operate at such a low flow velocity that its impact on marine life would be insignificant. In fact, the Santa Cruz design for the intake has been cited by the state as a standard for others to emulate. The desal plant brine would be combined with the existing outflow from the city's wastewater treatment plant so that the outflow from both systems would closely match the salinity and temperature of the surrounding water. It ensures that our North Coast streams and the San Lorenzo River will have enough water for endangered coho salmon and steelhead trout habitats. In short, the Sustainable Water Coalition believes conservation is critical, but it may not be enough. We need to find the best solution that combines conservation and desalination to provide a sustainable water supply for the future.
I'm going to do something a little unusual. I'm going to go back so I can show you slides. So I'm going to be back here at booth 10 if anybody wants to come watch the slides. My name is Joe Ben. I was born and raised here in Santa Cruz. So we live in a redwood rainforest, but we do have substantial year-to-year variability in the amount of rainfall we get. We've, as you can see, of this 100-year or 110-year graph that looks at the variability of our precipitation. We've just gone through the driest period in the last 110 years. Currently, we have about a year of a 1 year storage buffer. So this is Loch Lomond Reservoir, stores about 2.8 billion gallons, which is, again, about 1 year of supply. That in contrast to the San Francisco Public Utilities Commission, which serves about 2.5 million Bay Area residents. They have about a 3-year supply, so they have substantially more storage. My suggestion is that we increase our storage. Again, we have oodles of precipitation. We're here in this blue area where we've got substantial precipitation rates. We also have very low evapotranspiration rates, which means that the reservoir evaporates a small amount of its water over the year. So we get about 32% of our water from North Coast streams, and you can see those water intakes here. And one of those, about 12% of our water comes from Lydell Spring. This is Lydell Quarry, which is a limestone quarry, and then this is San Vicente Quarry. Between the two of these, we can store about 3.6 billion gallons. This is the way it would, basically we would utilize the existing Lydell pipeline and basically take advantage of this very substantial watershed on the North Coast. It's a cost-effective solution. It's environmentally attractive because these are already disturbed sites. It's an off-stream storage, which can actually augment fish flows during dry years. And it's cost-effective. The dam material's on site, and we can utilize the existing pipelines and deliver water for levels comparable with what we currently have. Thank you.
The program has been proven to reduce residential water demand by 5%. And one of the things that we do in terms of being a communication tool between the utility, the city, and you all is help to promote and support other solutions and ideas that are going to be valuable to this effort. So I know that the overall objective here is not to choose one winner. It's not about a silver bullet. There is no one singular solution to this problem. So what we would like to do is partner with the city of Santa Cruz to not only provide you all with more information about your water usage, tips about how you can be more water efficient, but also help the city promote and support some of the other wonderful ideas that are in this room. We're at table 9 back here in the corner. I'd love to see you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Kenneth Gorgeous, and I'm in booth number 23 over there. I've been developing a gray water reuse and reclamation system for my home. I've been living in Santa Cruz for 20 years now, and I thought this was a no-brainer idea for solving or helping to solve some of our water usage problems. I compared my system to a bunch of commercially available options, and I believe that I have a system that's cheaper and just as effective. It involves using a biosand filter system. This is similar to systems that are used in third world countries for making potable water. And I'm using it for irrigation of the garden and also sanitation, flushing toilets and so on. I invite you to stop by and take a look at it and check it out. Booth number 23. Thanks.
My name is Dana Ripley. I've been a wastewater consultant for about 3 decades. That's my first qualification. My second qualification is I knew nothing about City of Santa Cruz water issues 2 years ago. So I've given a fresh look to an old concept that's been on the table in Santa Cruz for at least 3 decades, and that's the Reclamation Coast Groundwater Exchange. Very simply, the plan would be to take the 8 to 10 million gallons of secondary effluent currently discharged to the Pacific Ocean, use that for primarily Brussels sprout irrigation. There are other crops as well. And in return the 6 to 8 million gallons a day peak flow that is currently pumped from the local coastal aquifers back to the city. And there may be the opportunity to use the existing coast pipeline for that transmission. The total yield on the project could be somewhere in the neighborhood of 700 to 850 million gallons per year. I'm back on table number 8. Thank you.
My name's Bobbie Markowitz. I'm a local landscape architect, and just want to let everyone know that there are rainwater harvesting systems that are currently becoming very popular. The technology's there to catch the water off the roofs and go into buildings for toilet flushing and washing machines and other non-potable uses. And also the rainwater can be used for irrigation, and there's the opportunity to save between hundreds of millions of gallons of water by using this kind of micro approach rather than in addition to some of the macro approaches that we've been hearing. So it will rain again, and we should capture that water instead of letting it flow down to the bay and use it, as I say, for either going into the houses or for irrigation. I'm in the corner there, booth number 6. Thank you.
Hi, I am Peter Scott. I think it might be better without the microphone than with it. I don't know. What do you think?
We can hear you.
Can you hear me? No. Okay. I am in booth 13 down here, the luckiest number in the room, about composting toilets in public venues. And it's a way of saving water. A composting toilet flush uses 6 ounces of water per flush versus 1.6 gallons for an ordinary flush toilet. It does not need infrastructure. It does not need, it's a low maintenance facility and makes a lot of sense. And we review 6 installations in the United States, including 3 that are in California, 1 in the Presidio in San Francisco, 1 in a golf course, Crystal Springs Golf Course next to Burlingame, and 1 brand new one in central San Jose, the San Jose Environmental Innovation Center. So we have a review there. It's available online. We are also showing a video of a very famous composting toilet installation in the Bronx Zoo, which is on YouTube, and you can Google Bronx Tube composting toilets or poop at the zoo, and you can watch that video. It's a 5-minute video. We'll be playing it loop mode. So that's it.
My name is Terry McKinney. I'm the production superintendent, so I actually get to run the Graham Hill Water Treatment Plant and the distribution systems. Coming in, there were some booths, more for information. You'll see some of the current projects we're working on, such as Bay Street Reservoir, Belts 12. You'll also see some of the